Hello, welcome back to the Diaries of M. For those who are new here, my name is M, and I am a transgender woman who found success in corporate America. Now, I wanted to make this video because I did a quick search maybe a few months ago and didn't really find any situations or discussions around this topic. I found one with a non-binary person who, told their story. However, as we know, non-binary and transgender women or men is totally two separate experiences. So I wanted to bring this to YouTube to help those who may be thinking about transitioning in corporate America or have a similar experience to kind of get that dialogue going. Now, I want to start all the way back to my pre transition days and how I led and navigated through corporate America. I graduated from college in 2009 and I got my first job at a legal title company, a law office where we would, record mortgages with the county. And I was a legal assistant to the president of this company here in Washington, D.C., and I learned so much from him. I was literally his second. I would schedule meetings for him. I would meet clientele with him and, run and get coffee too. I was kind of like the woman, what's her name? Andy from The Devil Wears Prada. And that's how my boss actually was too. He was so intimidating. But I think that intimidation made me stronger in the long run. And I learned, again, as I've said, so much from him. So I worked there for about 2 years. He was also in the LGBT space. He was a gay man and he had a husband and the whole thing. So I looked to him as, someone that was, very good to learn from. He made it successful. He was happy. And I thought that was wonderful. But so I transitioned from the law office to a financial institution, a bank, if you will. And I moved over to the bank side as a mortgage processor and closer. Again, this is all still pre transition. I didn't look like how I look like today, but I wanted to really, enhance my education in the real estate lending space. So I wanted to get the back end side where we would close on mortgages, but also fuse that with the mortgage processor side. So that's what I got and that's what I did. And I loved it. I did that for about 2 years and got a really good foundation. And if you remember from my other vlog, Being a Transgender Bride, episode 1, I talk about how I strategically wanted to navigate my transition to make sure that I was set up for success. I wanted to secure my career, my job first, and then transition to become happy holistically. And that's what I did. So I want to say around 5 years into my current company now, where I've been for 13 years, mind you. So I transitioned in the face of my company from male to what you see here today. I did that maybe 5 years in, 4 or 5 years in. I felt comfortable. I had a good rapport with my leaders, with my colleagues, and everyone knew me. So I strategically wanted to incrementally do it slow. So I would come in with heels and got comfortable wearing heels with my suit. So I was very much Jeffree Star or James Charles in that setting. I wore makeup too, light, just like eyeliner and then some foundation and mascara, light. So I did that for about a year and a half. And then I would wear these bold pieces, right? These bold necklace pieces, just to kind of, bring that feminine energy that I wanted to portray to my look. And I did that. And I had so many compliments, and so many kudos of being so courageous. And it was holistically a very good experience because my company at the time, was very inclusive of different people and still is today. So I had that support. But after a few years of doing that, I was like, okay, I feel secure enough. And this is when I actually, going back to my title and my career, I wanted to really, take what I've learned from my experience under a lawyer and my real estate experience and find really what my career was. Like, what is it that I wanted to do? And I loved the aspect of law where we would make sure that everything was compliant with the mortgage loans, with the court counties, county clerk, excuse me, and really that whole era. So I wanted to see what could I do in the financial industry that was kind of similar to that regard. And every bank, every company has a compliance division that is very similar to law work. So I transitioned my career from the mortgage processor over to a collateral risk analyst. And what I did in that title was I would monitor our mortgage portfolio and protect the company from court actions, whether it's like property line issues or tax liens or something was missed at closing. I would work very closely with our legal department to satisfy those court actions, whether in court or whether, it was litigated outside. So I did that and I loved it. However, that particular position didn't have any movement for growth. So I couldn't grow my current grade level, if you will. My company has grade levels where there's certain tiers of title, right? So each title, each grade level has a range of a salary. And my title was just stuck at one. So I wanted to move over to another realm in compliance that did more operational testing, making sure that our operations, whether it's systems, whether it is, our operational via procedures or manual work, was compliant to the federal regulation, whether it's like Reg C. There's so many different things that we have to be compliant for with the federal law as a bank. So I moved over there. And when I moved to this new position, I started, wanting to transition. And I told my boss that I was going to be doing this prior to even doing it. So that way I could protect my source of income, my source of safety for myself. And I did that. So they were cool with it. My colleagues they already are all new. I wore heels and I incrementally kind of geared up to this, right? So I told them about it. I started my hormones and everything. Now, this is when, the whole bathroom situation comes up. I wanted to navigate that very strategically as well because I know that me being transgender could make some women uncomfortable. I didn't immediately use the women's restroom. I waited a couple years, and my thought process was if there's ever a point in time when I go into the men's restroom and men are confused as to why I'm in there, that was a clear indicator for me to start going into the women's restroom. And that's exactly what happened. There was one day at work where I went to the restroom, the men's restroom, and when I was walking in, there was a guy coming out. He's like, "Wait, is this the women's restroom?" And I was like, "Oh, that's my cue." So I went to HR first and I was like, "Hey, I feel like this happened. I feel like I'm ready to migrate over to the women's restroom. Would there be any issue with me going to the women's restroom from this point on?" They said no. And if there was any issue from anyone else in the women's restroom, let them know. So that's when I took it as my cue to migrate over to that space. And it was successful. I haven't had any qualms. I was visually a woman to people. So I felt comfortable. They felt comfortable, and everything was kosher. So that's what happened. Now, to this day, I go into the women's restroom and no one knows, no one cares. If they do know, they're cool with it, whatever. I mean, they've seen me transition, so they know me as a person, being that I've been with this company for 13 years. So that was that. Now, my transition was underway. I felt wonderful. Everything was good. I was at this company that I loved, who loved me, my work product, etc. And now it was time to really hit the ground running and flourish myself as an individual, as a professional individual in corporate America. So I focused on what I wanted to do, my compliance goal, and becoming a compliance senior officer. So what did I do? I have a separate video that I'll talk about the strategy around everything that I did, taking certain classes, etc., and how that could help other folks as well. But just for a high level, what I did was I kind of, took focused classes. I had my bachelor's degree in business administration, so that was good. But I wanted to focus my education on law, on compliance. So I did some research on, credit union certifications for compliance related work. And there was one called a National Credit Union Officer Certification. So what this did was this taught me how to protect my company from any kind of non-compliance issues, what to look for, how to strategically build assessments, internal assessments on systems, on operations, to make sure that what we were doing was adequately being compared to what is required by the federal law. So that was wonderful. I took that, I got my certification, and ran with those best practices. I also did a Lean Six Sigma certification, and that has different stages of certifications where, and it's kind of mirrored after karate, if you will. So it has green belt, yellow belt, white belt, etc. So I went to the third tier of green belt and got my certification in that. And that helps you learn how to look at an operation and figure out what part of the operation is wasteful, is non-compliant, or has gaps. So all of that. And lastly, I took a legal assistant, no, not legal assistant, a law class here at George Mason University where they gave professionals um, legal coordination certifications, and that taught me more about the law aspect, and what certain jargon was, how to write in a legal manner. So I did all of this to strengthen my portfolio and my resume. So I took all of these assets and I applied it to my work, and it really showed. My leaders saw this, this increase in understanding and work product, and it was wonderful. So I moved over from operational risk into a senior compliance role. And this is where I looked at the operations and the compliance from the company as a whole, not just a specific avenue, real estate lending. I looked at all the divisions, credit cards, auto loans, mortgage loans, business accounts, all of that. And that really helped me solidify my understanding. Now, this is where I am today. I mean, I'm a little bit above where I was 2 years ago. I am currently a compliance program manager where I do kind of the same work where I look at the enterprise wide portfolio and I make sure that we're all compliant and work with those divisions and leaders to either strengthen the process or make sure that what they're doing is modified in a way where it's compliant to the particular regulation that we're applying it to. So that has been my experience. It's been a wonderful one, and I would not trade anything for the world. I mean, I am well regarded at work, and I think if you put the work in to yourself and showcase your output work, you can only go up from there. So that is my story personally in my navigation through corporate America. It has been wonderful. I feel like one is never going to stop growing, never stop learning. You have to think of, the next 5 years. What is your 5 year plan? Where do you want to end up in 5 years? And set incremental stages or pieces that you can obtain within a 1 year or maybe even 6 months cadence that you can obtain to help you reach your 5 year goal. You have to do that and you have to just stay focused, and that will help you get to where you want to be. So, in my next vlog, I will talk about all of the strategic elements, the blueprints that will help you get to part A of your career and your transition in corporate America to part Z, and those different elements that I incorporated in my personal navigation that could possibly help others. I think this is going to be a pretty broad blueprint that could help anyone, transgender or not transgender. But I think coming from someone who has lived it, who has gone through it, will help others in my situation reach the stars in their own personal endeavors. So, with that said, I'm going to end it here. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit the comments below. Let me know what those are. I will also link my social media here that you can maybe DM me. Let me know if you have any questions that you're going through that maybe I can help shed light on, and I will be here to assist in any way possible. But until next week, I wish you guys a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love.